Day 3 with Russell Brand. See it first on Rumble. The sexual aspect of these crimes is, of course, independently heinous enough and exploitative in a manner that's almost difficult to conceive of in terms of its scale and scope and geographical reach and the number of people involved. But it appears that this is also merely one component, and in fact is an aspect of this is the use of this criminal sexual activity in order to create ties that are connected to power. Am I correct? And where is it, Whitney, that all of this is going? Because it seems to me that you're handling a great deal of information and a great deal of energy, and that you have a sense yourself that you're very close to how global power really operates.
Well, that was my whole effort of the book. I wrote 1,000 pages. It's 2 volumes. The second volume focuses on Epstein, and the first volume focuses on how this happened and how this network that enabled Epstein essentially came into existence. And what I'm trying to do there is really just interrogate the power structures that are essentially running most of the Western world, and of course the Western world, particularly U.S. empire, has client states around the world. In other words, this would be the power structure of most of the world today. And essentially what you have are major elements of organized crime and intelligence agencies, mainly in the U.S., U.K., and Israel, that essentially fused during, the World War II and the immediate post-World War era. And a lot of really crazy things have gone on. And essentially what I found is that history is littered with figures just like Jeffrey Epstein. He was not an anomaly at all, like we've been told by mainstream media. And thus, it's probably likely that people swimming in these elite circles for several decades, found this type of activity in which Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were engaged to be perfectly normal. And actually, there's reports in 2003, and I think the Evening Standard and other UK outlets that openly talk about Ghislaine Maxwell training young blonde girls in sex techniques and brandishing whips at parties. People knew about this well before Epstein was arrested the first time, and nothing was done. And you even have the wife of the deceased Senator John McCain in the United States, Cindy McCain, saying in early January 2020, we all knew what he was doing, talking about Epstein. So this was known and nothing was done.
It's extraordinary. So it seems like it would be impossible to have a significant connection to Jeffrey Epstein and not know what he was doing. Overtly and explicitly, Jeffrey Epstein then is a realtor, a fixer, a global playboy. But the nature of his connections means what? That he's integrally involved in the true structures of power that are usually concealed from ordinary people.
Yeah, to an extent. I think he was really sort of a middle management figure who was sort of linking top tiers of this power structure and with people on the ground actually enacting a lot of these operations, policies, and corrupt acts, and of course him himself being intimately involved in several acts of corruption. As well. And ultimately, I think the reason the financial crimes are not discussed is because that's getting to the bottom of a lot of things that are still ongoing to this very day. And there's a lot of powerful interests that definitely don't want that coming out. And if you look at, for example, when efforts have been made to investigate the tie of Epstein and Wall Street banks, most recently with this situation in the Virgin Islands, the Attorney General was fired after trying to file suit against Deutsche Bank, I believe, for their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. And the previous attempt to prosecute that in a U.S. court saw the judge's son assassinated, essentially, by someone that had previously worked for an intelligence-linked outfit called Kroll Associates. So there's a whole lot of crazy stuff there. And so I think it's pretty clear why the mainstream media won't touch this one if that's how it happened, that's how it's played out on the legal side.
Stay free. See it first on Rumble.